taking over our streets, and this happened yesterday from Donald Trump on Truth Social. I'm pleased to inform that our many USA patriots that I am designating Antifa, a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster, as a major terrorist organization. I will also be strongly recommending that those funding Antifa be thoroughly investigated in accordance with the highest legal standards and practices. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Isabel, it seems to me that these things are not disconnected. When whatever the cry is against Western civilization, whether it's an Antifa mask or a Hamas mask or whatever, these massive rallies against the West, that perhaps the UK is going to, at least the people of the UK are going to try to take it seriously. That was their first salvo. But from an American perspective, now we are going to take it seriously via the government. And I think there's going to be major RICO cases here. It seems to me Trump's going to go after funding. I think we are going to find out an awful lot of things. And I think if I was Rashida Tlaib or some of those other people, I would be really worried about some of the NGOs that I've been working with.
As she should be, and many other people that we've suspected for a long time may have loose associations with some of these organizations. But Dave, if I can, let's just back up for a second here, because we did one of our episodes of the show about this week. I'm ecstatic that President Trump is declaring Antifa to be a terrorist organization. But I think for those of us who have been working in the movement for such a long time, this feels like such a late designation that we've been screaming from the rooftops for a decade that somebody please needs to pay attention to this. Andy mentioned this before we started our call as well, but there are many dozens of documented Turning Point USA events featuring Charlie Kirk over the last few years with violent Antifa protesters, not just holding up signs and screaming and making noise, but smacking people in the face with umbrellas, kicking open doors, smashing windows to try to force their way violently into buildings, punching students and physically assaulting students in the face, literally screaming, "We will kill you." I think we all remember quite recently Riley Gaines being detained inside of a classroom by these radically violent individuals. I was attacked by Antifa at Virginia Commonwealth University in April of 2023, where a 19-year-old girl was punched in the face, the student who invited us to campus, and I was detained alongside Kristen Hawkins as the violent speaker that came to campus while these people were destroying property and physically assaulting young people. So I think it's great that we're going in this direction, but it's jarring, I think, for so many of us who have been videoing this, posting it, begging people to pay attention to this for such a long time, because to those of us that have been in the fight, it's incredibly obvious these are not isolated, singular violent events. They are incredibly interwoven and connected. Andy knows this better than anyone, all around the world. And there seems to be some single origins here, at least in common thread ideology. We're now learning on the other end of Charlie's assassination that there have been radical, these Trantifa groups, to borrow your term, Andy, in the Salt Lake City area, operating for many years, including a group called Armed Queers of Salt Lake City that sent a delegation to Cuba in May of this year for armed Marxist revolutionary training, who, of course, were all posting online, we're now learning in advance of Charlie's assassination, saying something's happening at this campus tomorrow, but no one paid attention to it then. And now we're being told by the mainstream media, none of these things are interconnected. There's no common thread. There's no common funding. There's no common ideology here. This was just a crazy, deranged individual who may have, by the way, been acting in self-defense for their trans boyfriend against the violence of Charlie Kirk. So I'm incredibly excited to know that we are stepping in this direction. And I hope and I pray and I call upon the administration and anyone in positions of leadership and power to do everything they can to get to the bottom of this. But I hope and I pray we don't have another similar situation in the meantime, knowing that we've been screaming this from the rooftops for a very long time.